I saw this post a couple of days ago and I was also tagged in it. This woman says, I'm done with relationships. She posted this in the 2X chromosome subreddit. And I've seen lots of women have this sentiment. That's the reason why the 4B movement is growing. Women are just literally over it. She and her partner are both 39. She says, was told at 11:30 last night that my partner doesn't like me. He's done and has been done for a long time. He hates spending time with me and our child as a family, hates being around me in general. If he woke up in an ideal world, he'd have never met me. He wants me to move out and will share custody. He doesn't want to speak to me at all unless it pertains to our child. He said he wants to physically harm me sometimes. I've been in bed reeling all day, scrambling to find a place to go ASAP. He just walked in to bring me food that I didn't ask for, and as he's leaving, he says, I love you. I just felt like I needed to say that. Oh my goodness. So now I'm sobbing uncontrollably. I feel blindsided. I feel sick. I feel devastated. I feel unsafe. I just want to wake up from this nightmare, except I'm not asleep. Between this man and my ex-husband, I am so thoroughly done with romantic relationships with men. Just venting. Thanks for reading if you made it this far. Folks come to my page, they go to other feminist page and act like feminists are the reason why relationships are the way they are. No, it's women's experiences like this. Telling women's stories isn't the problem. It's people acting like women are disposable, like you could just get rid of women or just throw them out, upgrade, discard, or whatever. This is one of the reasons why women, like why we have told our daughters, our nieces, the ladies up the street, our friends, to get and stay financially stable, because this woman is reeling. She's living with this man. And now she needs to recalibrate and be able to get out of here quickly. The only way to really land on your feet is to have your own money. Yes, you get comfortable, and yes, it would take just a moment to recalibrate, but if you have your own money, then you can do it. After you get over the breakup and the heartache of hearing these types of mean-spirited things. Hearing these types of stories, knowing what trad wives and stay-at-home moms go through if there's a breakup, there are so many reasons why people like me talk about financial independence, getting your career together, having your own money, and it's for these types of reasons. Little Chicken says, I am so sorry that this is happening to you. I've been there and it's hell. You don't deserve it. There's nothing wrong with being done with men and relationships. It's totally understandable and natural. You may meet someone in the future who changes how you feel, or you may not. Either is fine and neither will dictate your happiness. What he said to you is about him, not you. He has issues. They are not any indication of your worth as a partner or as a person. You're going to feel bad for a while because that's what's meant to happen when you lose something that was important to you. But when that passes, you're going to be so relieved that you are free of the person who did this to you. I wanted to die when my abusive ex left me. I was so scared and alone that I missed his violence and hate because it was familiar. Now I look back on it with gratitude because it was one of the best things that ever happened to me. You deserve better and you will have better. Desperately Seeking says, very happy to hear you got out of that and are safe. 2 Kids, 3 Cats says, I spent my entire teenage years and all my 20s looking for my person. Found him. Married him at 30. 2 kids at 35 and 37. He started hanging out with his best friend and coworker shortly after my son was born. We got divorced when I turned 40. I have never been on a date, in a relationship, or whatever since. And I am very, very happy. I do not ever plan to be in a relationship again. Still happy. That's why I said these men are the ones that are running women off. Women are just now talking about it because women are losing the shame and stigma of getting divorced or having a relationship that falls apart. That happens. And now that we're talking about it, is like, I think it kind of builds our collective muscle that it is perfectly fine to be single, because being single is better than this that we have going on, like when we read these stories. Katara at the bottom says, married for 7 years to a narcissist who was sexually, emotionally, and financially abusive. After I finally got free, there was only one short-lived fling very soon after, and after that I was done. Been on my own for 20 plus years, much better alone than I ever was in a relationship. NZ Food Girl says, have you and your child got somewhere safe to go tonight? And then the OP Backcountry says, we're staying at his parents'. It's the only place I can go right now, and I trust them implicitly. And then Sinestera says, are his parents aware of what's happening? You need to consult the laws in your state regarding recording others. I say that because you need to immediately download a recording app and start recording absolutely every moment of your time from now until you consult an attorney. In some states, it's not legal to record others. That's called two-party consent. This means you must inform any and everyone that you are recording. If your state allows for single-party consent, then that means that you do not need to tell anyone you are recording. You need to cover your butt and record every moment or interaction if it's legal, because you cannot truly trust his parents, and you need to take care of yourself and your kid. Flarty McFlarstein says, also call a DV hotline and discuss his threats. So now we're at the point where women are forming community in these social media platforms in the comment section. Please do not be so ashamed to tell your story. Yes, there are a-holes that come into the comments that say you should have known better and all of that. But a lot of the times there are women that come in and they want to help you. They want to see you do better, especially if you're in a woman-dominated space. Now, I have seen some spaces that are male-dominated where men jump in and they are a-holes towards women who are leaving. I've seen that. But for the most part, if you post where there's going to be a bunch of women, sometimes there are some pick-meshas. I get that. But for the most part, I've seen communities where women, want to see other women get out safely and be able to start again. Unretired Cassandra says, he expressed a desire to harm you physically. Secure yours and your child's safety immediately. Home to What says, OP, basically saying he hates you in one breath, then that he loves you in another, and particularly framing these as normal, healthy, calm discussions of the discussion of a relationship is very concerning as it pertains to his maturity, self-awareness, frankly, sanity, particularly with the mention of violence. These are not normal ways to think/feel. Have there been any signs of things abnormal with him before now? Hard to believe he's pulled off normal while feeling these things. Concern for you. Please tread lightly, especially with the kids. I did go back and check. She hasn't done any updates or any comments. Hopefully she is truly done and gotten away from that man. You never know. But the whole point in me making these videos is for other people, is for my community to know and understand why you need to have some money, why you need to have some financial freedom, because, you can be in love and it'd be great until it's not. Until you need to get away. And when you need to get away, you need to be able to, like this other person said, secure your safety and your children's safety if there are any children involved. Okay, y'all, go ahead, weigh in. Let me know what you think about this. Join the conversation. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. I saw this post yesterday in the marriage subreddit very early after it got posted. He says, I think I failed as a husband. He says, throughout my marriage, I thought the most important things were to provide, be faithful, and not fight and argue over small things. I'm finding out I think I missed very important parts of being loving, compassionate, and romantic. I've never been the romantic type. It never came natural to me. I always heard horror stories of friends' marriages that ended in divorce, but thought because we didn't have those problems, we were good. I'm very selfish and used to drink a lot, but have been sober almost a year now. My attentiveness to her has gotten better in the last year, but not enough. It's kind of tough because we don't share much in common as far as hobbies or interests. We don't have the same friends or crowd of people. She knows I love her, but pretty much came out in a discussion last night. I'm not in love with her. We have 2 great kids, 16-year-old girl, 13-year-old boy. Things were really tough when the kids were young, mostly because I wanted to drink and party and she focused on the kids. We have been married going on 17 years, together for 24. She's kind of checked out after our latest argument, which I saw as small, but there was a lot more beneath the surface. I don't really know what to do at this point. We have a good life, financially secure, home, and other stuff, but I know divorce will ruin all that. We both are hard workers and have good careers. I kind of want another chance to make things better and keep together what we have built. But part of me also think, what's the point of continuing? I guess I've never felt what it's like to be truly in love and wanting to spend every spare moment with a person willing to do anything for them. I grew up in a broken home and became very independent at a young age. I never really saw that kind of love. She grew up the same, but knew she wanted a different kind of love and just thought she could get it out of me. She's a great woman, awesome mother to our kids. I know she deserves that kind of love. Not just sure if I'm capable of giving that to her. Thanks for listening. Just felt I needed to get that off of my chest. He's not going to be blindsided. He knows that he was a terrible father. A terrible husband. He's only gotten kind of attentive and aware this past year. They've been married for 17 years. At this particular juncture, this woman is seeing the end of the tunnel. Like, oh my God, these kids are almost out of the house. And she's going to have the opportunity to have a second act in her adult life. Because why would she stick and stay with somebody that has told her flat out, I am not in love with you? And the thing is, he's already let us know he wasn't very supportive. He wasn't attentive. He didn't do all of that because all he felt like he had to do was provide. But she has a job herself. She has a job and she still managed to do all of the things that she needed to do for her household and her children. And all of that is going to come to her brain, especially when she has an empty nest. Because the kids at this particular juncture, they're still in the home, but they don't need as much. So she has some free time. When the kids are young, you don't really have time to think about the suckiness that goes along with the sleep deprivation, potty training, all the things that go along with the busyness that goes along with raising kids that are completely dependent on you. So now that she knows this, she'll have the opportunity to say, is this how I really want to live my life? I do not believe that this man deserves a wife at all. The way he's talking, he does not sound like somebody that I would want to even interact with very much. He's taken this woman for granted for almost 2 decades. So why should she want to stick and stay? But that is me. And that's actually what I told him on this post. I said, you like what she does in the home to make it comfortable. I hope she leaves you and is able to pour into herself. She should take you at your word that she will never be loved well by you. Voltaic Sketchy Teapot says, you'll have to be willing to make yourself a little bit uncomfortable in order to be who you want to be. You have to learn how to spend quality time together, doing activities you both enjoy, trying new activities, and trying new restaurants. This isn't about spending every spare moment together. This is about ensuring that the time you do spend together means something. I don't think that, everybody doesn't need to just be attached to somebody at the hip all the time. But you do need to be supportive, be caring, actually check in with your partner and ask what they want. I think some people take things to the extreme, like every spare moment, because they know that they can't live up to every spare moment. So it's like, if you can't even attain that, why even try? And he doesn't seem like he even gives a damn about trying at all. Nose Fun says, you sound like my husband and I. We both grew up with trauma, and those traumas really prevented us from connecting on a deeper level. My husband had never felt true love, and neither had I. It took intense counseling for both of us, individual and together, to learn to not be triggered by each other. We were both so shut down, couldn't open our hearts to each other. We've been married for 20 years, together for 25. The last 2 years have truly been the best of our marriage, and we were in a similar position to you. We fought constantly while our kids were younger, but vowed to stay together at least until they went off to college. We are also pretty financially secure, but all of that would go away having to split our household. And today in social media discourse, men act like they will lose everything if they get divorced. No, you're going to lose half because she deserves half. And most of the women are actually working these days. They'll lose, part of the marital assets, but they also lose all that comes along with having a spouse and a woman that is typically the one that is managing the household. Here's the OP saying, sounds exactly like our situation. We did marriage counseling before, but it fell by the wayside. My biggest problem is complacency. Things go good for a while and just get stuck That sounds very like he's not part of it. It just gets stuck. We don't fight much, but she holds on to every little thing till she explodes, then brings out every situation I fall short. This woman is done. Vice Principal Nero says, go find yourself a good Gottman-trained marriage counselor and don't let it fall by the wayside. Make it the most important thing in your life. She feels like you're checked out of the marriage, which sounds about right, and she's feeling lonely, rejected, and unheard. The good news is that if you really work on it, there's a chance you could save your marriage, but you have some growing to do. I think at this point, he's going to have to ask her flat out if she wants to stay in this marriage. Because, you can go to all the counseling you want. You can get some workbooks and journal some things. But if she's pretty much checked out, it's going to be hard to bring her back in. Bids of love. Pay attention to bids of love. Even if you're not interested in the same thing, show excitement when she talks about subjects. Also, do you know her favorite flowers? If not, find out. Buy them at random times. Also, find out what type of date she would like. Maybe a couple's weekend away. Really, this can improve the way both of you are feeling. At that particular point, he would need to actually ask, do you like flowers? Would you like a getaway? Maybe she doesn't even want a weekend getaway because spending too much time with somebody that barely likes you might not be relaxing or fun. So he really, like I said just a minute ago, he actually needs to talk to this woman and see where she's feeling. Is she checked in at all? Is she checked completely out? Is there any reviving this, or do they need to just exist until they can figure out how they want to split up? So he's going to have to actually ask some questions. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. Some of these men know. They know that they're not good partners. So not all of them are blindsided when the divorce papers come. But they still haven't gotten to that point where they're willing to do the work necessary to make their relationships work. And I think that they do get kind of blindsided at women finally picking up and walking away, because I do believe that they really don't think that the woman will leave. So that's blindsided in that aspect, but not blindsided that the relationship is on the rocks or needing to end. All right, y'all. Weigh in. Let me know what you think about this one. I was tagged in this "Am I Overreacting" post. She says, am I overreacting for ignoring my boyfriend after inappropriate comments about my new purse? She gives us a bunch of screenshots of text messages, but before I get to the text messages, let me read her caption. She's 24, he's 23. It's so wild that they are so controlling this young. All right, so she's 24, he's 23. I haven't been able to respond to my boyfriend's text for hours because I have no words. I sent him a photo of coffee and my fake Dior bag was in it. I got it for free as part of a brand deal and started using it today. I'm desperately trying to understand, but at the same time, I'm generally appalled at this, and I need to know what other people think. How would you respond in this situation, or what would you do? This is where I was tagged in. MyMentalHell.com says, classic weaponized therapy talk, Jonah Hill style, peppered with nagging and all the good stuff. When men go to therapy, bad things happen. Male therapists and women too just enable them. So let's get into it, because this set of screenshots has a whole lot of mess in it. Okay, so here is the 23-year-old controlling dude. Oh my God, the horrors. That goddamn bag, I can't. I tried to escape to the other phone. Then he says, when I was on a date with that girl, we were talking about what's the female equivalent of guys wearing those Balenciaga logo sneakers. And she said that exact Dior bag. Now listen to how he shifts. Get rid of it or I will self-delete. That's what he says. That's what my head is covering. I will unalive myself. And she simply says, I like it. He says, throw it away. And she says, I've literally been so excited about it today, LOL. So she's not seeing that he is like taking this way too far yet. She's still kind of excited and maybe she thinks he's joking. Maybe that's why she put the LOL there. He says, throw it off the Kemah Bridge and hope it lands on a boat that's on fire. Give it to a homeless person. And she says yuck to the part where he was talking about being on a date and the Balenciaga logo sneakers. She just simply says yuck. And he's still going. Donate it to the Goodwill. And she's responding to the part about the date and the Balenciaga logo sneaker. Says, give me her number. I'll send her a picture. Then he says, jokes aside, a very strong boundary for me are pretentious displays of wealth. So that is a boundary for him. Pretentious displays of wealth. I don't think that that's a boundary, but that is how he's using it. And she says, wouldn't a real one be a display of wealth? And to that he says, this is an indisputable hard boundary I refuse to cross. And then she says, this is a display of poorness. And he says, it's not even real. This is even worse. And she's like, why are you being mean? Can we self-assess quickly? He says, you paid money for fake artifacts. You pretend you're wealthy. She says, I did not pay for anything. He says, the bag itself is ugly. She says, I'm going to stop answering now. You're being so mean. And now he is talking to himself and he's escalating. And now he's adding a bunch of extra layers of stupidity. Get rid of it today or I won't talk to you ever again. Give it to Gina. Along with the glasses. If I see them, I'm going to effing destroy them. There are members of my family in Cuba who can't afford dialysis and will die soon. There are no antibiotics in Cuba. People just die. What will I look like if you are my wife and people see you with things like that? Please don't be ignorant. I'm not even against art. You've shown me bags that look nice. The bag and the glasses have big effing logos on them. They're just displays of wealth. You could have gotten the same thing without the logos. It's true that I'm being mean and I know you don't mean harm, so I'm sorry, but please understand that this feels like a punch to the gut to me, like a disconnect from reality that I and many others who have it much worse carry every day. There are bags you've shown me that are beautiful without screaming status. If I'm going to dedicate my life to saving Cuba, I just need to know that the person by my side won't unknowingly undermine that mission. Please don't take this as an attack. It's me being vulnerable. I care about you, and this matters a lot to me. And I'm sure there are other things that you don't understand right now that are important to me, but please understand that I really have to be strict and austere with everything. And maybe you think I'm literally effing crazy, but the things I'm trying to do have never been done before, and I don't plan on it being very easy. I know you don't think about your TikToks this much, but I think good message could be to show people, undoubtedly many girls who want to be like you, that you can look cute and hot and sexy without using name brands as a crutch. I am thoroughly disgusted with this whole diatribe. There are a lot of things in here that are a whole mess. She showed him a picture of a coffee and a fake bag. She did post it in the comments because everybody was asking, here's the coffee and here's her fake bag. So she shows him this, and then he goes on this whole rant, assuming that they're going to get married, assuming that she's ready to take on this Cuba plan with Captain Cuba, assuming that like her having this bag or not impacts the granny getting dialysis and people getting antibiotics. The jumps were very odd to me. Let's get into some of these comments to break down what he's done to this woman. Cold Bodybuilder says, yikes. I hate to add to the cacophony of voices, but when someone shows you who they are, believe them. I'm old enough to know these things don't change. You might feel tempted to defend him because he looks so bad, but refrain. You didn't make him look bad. He just is who he is. Today is the bag. Today is the bag and glasses. Tomorrow it's your dress, then your makeup and how you talk to people. Then it's who you talk to. I would say thank you for your time. Have a good life. Flower Lamp says, agree to a, 10,000%. This is not the one. Also, does anybody else see guilt tripping? Also, he tried to humiliate you to make a point. And why is he Yeah, why is he doing all this? He's 23 years old. Why are they so young and controlling off the rip? This is crazy. Snack Girl Currywurst says the gaslighting is strong with this one. Narcissistic prayer all over the place. We've already covered that didn't happen by not addressing his attitude when she asked for reflection, as well as, and if I did it, it wasn't that bad, by calling her pretentious and putting the blame on her for somehow hurting deadly ill family members by carrying a free fake purse. I love the future faking marriage talk, though. That's a low key threat about if you don't act as I want you to, I won't love you anymore, and this is what you'll lose. As well as, and if it was, that's not a big deal, by finally admitting he's wrong, but only because he's being vulnerable and wanting to save Cuba. What the F are you even talking about? I guess I'm going to have to go back and find the narcissistic prayer. All right, it says there are only 3 more steps to go, and if it ends with, and if I did, you deserved it, better OP doesn't find out how that one will manifest, although her hopefully ex already threatened to self-delete and or destroy her stuff. So there's a sneak preview of what's going to come. Yeah, I'm going to have to look up the narcissistic prayer. I don't know it. Maybe I've seen it and all of this is already in it, but that'll have to be a different video. Someone please remind me. Look up narcissistic prayer. Mushroom Head says, perfect analysis of Darvo. Also, why was he talking about the opinion of a girl he dated? So gross. I had to go back and check to make sure OP said he's her boyfriend because that caught me way off guard. That did. He just kind of threw it in there. So how long have they even been talking? Because they're only 23 and 24. Snack Girl Currywurst says, I think he did that because, 1, he needs a third party to add social pressure. Everyone thinks this is ugly. It's not just me. You're embarrassing us both. Number 2, to play her insecurities regarding their relationship. Just a quick reminder that I can totally date other girls with better taste. You better do what I want or I'll move on easily. And then Mushroom Head says, I respect your expertise in this field. You should be a counselor. I mean, sometimes people know this stuff. That's the reason why the comment section is so on point and important to read through. Loverly One says, well, he's dedicated his life to saving Cuba, so he doesn't really have time for dating anyway. Move on, OP. Flower Lamp says, LOL, the Cuba and the grandmother part. It was insane. And to that, Snack Girl Currywurst says, the Cuba part sent me. I LOL so hard at the idea of this man-child in a Captain Cuba costume out to save the whole country on his own. Just in that pose, I'm Captain Cuba. All right, y'all. Weigh in. We needed to see this together so we could see some of these tactics men use to control women. This one is definitely insane. Join the conversation. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. Y'all need to see this bonus. I am so happy for the younger ladies and how they are not going for these older men that are trying to trap them into being a hospice wife or nurse in a purse. If you are in your 20s, do not mess with these men that are old enough to be your daddy. All they are going to do is attach to you and suck your life force, especially the ones that don't have kids, that have never been married. They are aging terribly. They are out here. They thought that they could be community peen and run through women and they would still have the opportunity to settle down. Do not be their soft landing spot because they ran through their whole community and burned bridges in relationships. Watch this 20-something. It definitely makes my heart go pitter-patter to see how these 20-year-olds are pushing back against the narrative that they want these mature / ran through and used up men. Go ahead and watch this post and let me know what you think about this bonus.
A lot of older men really do look to us young girls as a retirement plan, and I'm starting to realize that. My best friend is 25 and she's actively dating, and she always says how for like 46, 47, 48-year-old men always would like talk to her and like start talking about marriage and kids, and she will always say like, I'm like, it's to the point where she put in her dating profile no men over the age of 36, and we cackle at it. Men in their late 40s talking about no kids, ready for marriage, ready to settle down, and she's like, why do you think that I'm like, One, her dad is 50. Her dad just turned 50. Why, like, she will always say, why do you think I'm going to bring home a man 2 years younger than my father? But we were talking on the phone how she was trolling this one guy who was saying how he was looking to start a family. He's 48, never had any kids, never married. He's looking to start a family. And she's like, well, when my kids are 20, I'm going to be in my 40s and you're going to be in your 60s. Like, how is that going to work? I'm going to have to take care of you, the kids, and myself. And he said, well, traditionally, that's how that goes. And she's like, are you using me as a retirement man to bank on my labor? And I'm like, yes, that's exactly what he's doing. He's banking on your labor in his older years for you to take care of the children, him, and everything else. He's looking for a nurse.